I'm thankful for the opportunity of today, and I hope that you guys wake up every day and that you keep that in mind, because you have another day, you have another opportunity to live a better life, to be healthier, and a lot of people don't have that. So be thankful for what you have. Always try to come from a place of gratitude. It's helped me a lot in life, and I try not to lose sight of that. But today, I'm really excited to talk to you guys about something that's super important and that a lot of people don't know and don't realize. And really what I want to talk to you guys about is, well, I want to talk to you about my approach to Hashimoto's and how I work with and help people that have Hashimoto's to improve their health, dampen their autoimmune process, and really just try to give them the best quality of life possible. And this is really important because one of the biggest challenges I think that people have is some sense of like direction, like what can they do? And then if they find and they get information on how to potentially help themselves with Hashimoto's, they're confused because it's so overwhelming. And what I really like to do is I want to make sure that you understand some basic things. And I want you to understand my approach, because the thing that I think has helped me the most is to organize and try to approach helping people with Hashimoto's in a very organized fashion, so that it's kind of like developing a roadmap so that you don't get lost as you're trying to work through and improve your health. So that means that you have to understand that there are some things that tend to be more important than others when you're trying to recover and improve, okay? So let's talk about today my approach, and let me give you some a general overview of just some very foundational things that we can't lose sight of, okay? So the first thing that we want to talk about is that, and guys, do me a favor. If you guys enjoy these videos, please do share these videos with other people, because for one, a lot of people are never ever going to hear this information. They're not gonna get this, and the best and easiest way that we found to help people is through video, because no one really wants to read books that much, and quite frankly, and the videos tend to be very helpful. So help us help other people. If you find value in this, please share it. If not, no worries. Give me some thumbs up and some hearts if you find that these are helpful to you. And if I see that there's a lot of shares, I'm going to talk more about these types of topics, okay? Because that's the approach that I'll take. If I don't see a lot of shares, then no worries at all. I'm just going to move on to another topic. But they let me know if people are really interested in the topic and if they really find value. Because if you really like something, you'll tend to share it with other people in your family and your friends. Because so that's how I use that to kind of judge what to talk about. So anyway, with this particular topic, let's go ahead and get started. I just wanted to kind of mention that to you guys so that we can help us help other people. Let's start a movement. Let's change the world. Let's really help people take their health back, become their own advocates, and really ultimately not be adversaries with their doctors, but be better partners, right? Let's make a difference. So, okay, what we're going to talk about is really Hashimoto's in my approach, but this applies to a framework of trying to figure out how to help yourself. So, number one is that Hashimoto's is what? What is Hashimoto's? Can you guys tell me what's Hashimoto's? Is Hashimoto's a thyroid problem? Is that what you think Hashimoto's is? So, what is a thyroid problem? Right? Define that for me. Like, what is a thyroid problem? So, is Hashimoto's a thyroid problem, or is it what is it? Is it a deficiency in thyroid hormone? Is it just being low in thyroid hormone? Is that what Hashimoto's is? Well, we say it's a thyroid problem, don't we? Your doctors say it's a thyroid problem. If it's a thyroid problem, though, what is a thyroid problem, right? Is a thyroid problem an decreased ability to produce thyroid hormone? Is a thyroid hormone, is a thyroid problem thyroid nodules? Is a thyroid problem a goiter? Well, so what is Hashimoto's? Hashimoto's is not a thyroid problem. It destroys and damages the thyroid, but Hashimoto's is, I know you guys know this, some of you do. What is Hashimoto's? I never write lowercase, as you can tell. Autoimmune. The immune system, for some reason, doesn't recognize your thyroid as you, and it attacks the thyroid. Typically it attacks, the attack is focused on TPO or TG, sometimes written as TGB, thyroid peroxidase, an enzyme in the cells of the thyroid, and thyroglobulin, which is a protein on the inside the cells of the thyroid. both of these things, your body has to have them to make thyroid hormone. Now we know that in a research setting there are probably dozens or at least a dozen of different tissues attacked in Hashimoto's. But from a clinical perspective, what we can really measure is TPO and TGB, or thyroid peroxidase and thyroglobulin. It is an autoimmune problem, guys. So when you go to your doctor and they give you a thyroid hormone replacement, which is not unreasonable if you need it at all. I mean, if you need a thyroid hormone replacement, you need a thyroid hormone replacement, and you definitely do not want to be deficient in thyroid hormone. That is not an option. Really, it will cause everything to degenerate. But does a thyroid hormone replacement address autoimmunity? Does it do anything to address the reason why? The reason why you're autoimmune. Why am I autoimmune? What's causing my body to attack itself? That's not normal. Why is my body attacking itself? So the issue is, do you know why? If you don't know what, this doesn't address the why, the root driver. You have to address the causes, guys, the causes. What we currently know, the leading theory, which almost everything, when I say theory, I say that because I want to be clear, but almost everything we have in medicine is a theory, guys. So this is a theory of autoimmune causes. But I'll tell you, there's tons of research supporting it. It's really hard to make something a fact in science, okay? Because we're constantly learning. So everything's a theory. But so here's the thing. Address the causes, the things that we believe drive the autoimmune process. We have tons of great peer-reviewed indexed literature that helps us to know exactly some of these mechanisms and some of these driving causes. So address the causes of autoimmunity. What promotes autoimmunity? Okay, so there's three things, which are not these causes, but three things that we know has to occur for us to develop an autoimmune condition. A lot of this research comes from Alessio Fasano. He's a pediatric gastroenterologist, Harvard researcher, studies celiac disease. Okay, you can read his literature; it's fantastic. Absolutely should. But what he discovered was that there's this process called intestinal permeability, or leaky gut. That leaky gut has to be present to initiate an autoimmune process. So what happens is in the GI tract, if the gut wall is leaky, and the digesting food and bacteria that's traveling through the digestive tract can leak into the bloodstream and trigger an immune response, that can initiate autoimmunity. Now there's some other mechanisms behind that, biochemically and immunologically, called molecular mimicry and called cross-reactivity, where your body attacks these proteins or these inflammatory chemicals that are coming into the bloodstream through that leaky intestinal wall, and that triggers an immune response, and your immune system may attack those things coming into the bloodstream, and at the same time, because those, let's say it's gluten, for example. Everyone's heard about gluten lately, and gluten is a protein in wheat, but let's say it's gluten that your immune system reacts to. Well, gluten looks a lot like TPO. If we look at the protein structure of it, and it's okay if you don't understand proteins and some of the things I'm talking about, it's general concepts that I'm going to give you here. The immune system may attack the thyroid peroxidase, this enzyme in the cells of the thyroid that is associated with Hashimoto's, thinking it's the gluten that leaked in, that was leaking through the gut wall into the bloodstream. So Alessio Fasano tells us you have to have intestinal permeability, you have to have a trigger, which could be gluten, and you have to have a genetic predisposition. Okay, so that's all it takes, guys, and really you can then lose self-tolerance. Your immune system no longer identifies you as you, and your body attacks itself. So when that occurs, you're then autoimmune. And if you continue to feed the immune system and flood it with, let's say, gluten, for example, and you keep exacerbating and flaring the immune response, and the immune system continues to attack this gluten coming through the gut wall into the bloodstream, then you'll put fuel in the fire of your autoimmunity. Okay? So what are the things that we think cause and promote autoimmunity? Well, I just told you one. Food, proteins, and peptides. It's really peptides, guys, and all you got to know is this. A protein is kind of like, if we think of a chain with links, right? So we've got a chain and we've got links here, okay? So this is the protein. Really, a protein would be actually longer, okay? Okay, a protein. A peptide would be So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 links in the chain. A peptide would be this, like 4 links, okay? And the reason this is important is because the immune system looks at this unique arrangement of these. These are amino acids, but this unique arrangement, your immune system looks at those, and that's what it reacts to. And if that's foreign, see, the thing is that your body should really only let through into the bloodstream individual links of the chain, okay? Like this individual link, which would be an AA, amino acid. That will come through, that helps, that's the building blocks of the body. Now, the peptide could be a 3-chain or a 4-chain or whatever sequence where there's still a few attached together, but this thing's small enough to pass through that leaky gut wall and trigger an immune response, okay? Now, your immune system can see that and respond to it, and then if any of your body's tissues look similar in structure to that peptide, your immune system and the antibodies may attach to your own tissues, promoting autoimmunity against your body, your joints, your thyroid, okay, whatever it may be, your nervous system. Any tissue can be attacked. So food peptides primarily are what we're talking about because they're small enough to pass through a leaky gut wall, okay? The whole food chain here, the protein is not. So, okay, so that's number 1, food, proteins, and peptides. So what do we do with food, proteins, and peptides? These are the things that we need to identify and that we need to address so that we can try to dampen the immune response. So what do? Well, here's the thing. If we talked about nothing else today, you could start by saying, I wonder if I'm reacting to any of the foods I'm eating. Now, in an ideal world, I'm going to test for all 3 of these things, plus some of the stuff down here that I'm going to talk about in a second. I'll do a significant amount of testing so that we can be really specific in trying to dampen the process that's occurring. No guesswork, but you can do guesswork. I mean, sometimes you can be successful with just changing diet. So we have seen, and I've seen so many people repetitively, and I've worked with so many people, and we've consulted with people, and try to teach, and I've learned from other just brilliant doctors. What we've done is we have our program. If you guys aren't aware of that, the 6-week Hashimoto's transformation program. It helps people that are autoimmune and with Hashimoto's, but it's good for almost anyone because really it focuses on decreasing inflammation, balancing blood sugar, and supporting gut health. That's a great place to start. If you want to try trial and error. If you want to be specific, you want to try to get better as fast as possible, then you've got to identify causes, guys. You've got to know the why. You've got to know what's promoting this. And that's where you have to do testing to identify these things. If not, it can really prolong the process, but you may do well with the diet. So it's not unreasonable. If you don't have access to resources, because you're going to pay out of pocket for these tests, guys, it's not considered medically necessary according to insurance companies. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong, it's just where we are in healthcare today. So you're going to pay out of pocket to get some of these tests and stuff done. You can spend anywhere from a few $100s to several $1,000s. But when you talk about cost and you say, oh wow, I'm going to do all this testing and it would cost me $5,000 to do that, that's ridiculous. Well, how much is a ride in an ambulance to the hospital? It's like $1,000 or $2,000. How much is a trip to the ER? Easy $1,000. How much is a stay in intensive care per day? It can be $10,000. So it's all relative. You've got to compare it to something. Like compared to what? I mean, if you're comparing it to, you've got to compare the things like the cost of healthcare. This is an investment in you in identifying what's happening, not in being reactive to a disease process. Okay, you're actually trying to be proactive and identify and help yourself. So it's all relative, but you can start at a lot of different places that are almost no cost to actually places where you spend and you invest more money in your own health, okay? And there's no right or wrong place, it's what's best for you. But you can start with a diet. So you can go to like thyroidprogram.com, which is, you can go there, register. We give our program away to 1 person per month. So you can register to win, and when you enter, you can also purchase the program after you enter. You have an opportunity to do that if you wanted to. But it's a great video-based program. We have a Facebook support group and lots of things that can help. So food is number 1 cause. Number 2, what's number 2, guys? Who knows what number 2 is? Put it in the comments if you know what the second thing is. Okay, do you know what the second cause and driver of autoimmunity? I talk about it a lot. Anyone get it right? What? Pathogens. What in the world is a pathogen? You might ask, what is a pathogen? Anyone know what a pathogen is? Can you tell me, There are 4 pathogens that I really look for. Can anyone tell me in the comments, what are the pathogens? Pathogens. Let's look at pathogens. Pathogens. Bacteria. Viruses. Fungi or fungus. And parasites. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here. Bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites. The primary pathogens that I'm looking at. Because why are these important to autoimmunity? Because they're an infection that stimulate a prolonged immune response. We're talking chronic infections, long term. Most commonly you find bacteria in the gut, viruses are throughout the body, fungi, very, very commonly find candida and yeast overgrowth in the GI tract. You can find it systemically as well. And then parasites can be anywhere, but very commonly in the stomach, in the digestive tract. Probably the most common bacteria that we find is H. pylori or Helicobacter pylori. You find parasites and other things, Yersinia intracolitica. Those are a lot of different types of things can promote autoimmunity, and especially thyroid viruses. Epstein-Barr virus we know has been implicated. So you've got to check to see if it's a current, chronically active virus or if it's just a past exposure. And then you put together, I utilize primarily nutritional protocols and supplemental herbal protocols to help support and dampen these things, and then we try to taper off of all that. But you want to take a survey of this overall picture, okay? So pathogens. Number 3, what's the third primary driver of autoimmunity, guys? What do you think? Can anyone tell me in the comments? I know somebody knows. There's an M and an S in the word. It starts with a C. A C. What is it, guys? Kim. I kept worrying I wasn't going to put enough things. And I was going to get in here and write this out and have to go further. Chemicals. And in particular, environmental chemicals. Guys, there are tens of thousands of environmental chemicals, and you know that the majority of those have not been tested for human safety. There were a lot that were in play, that were in the environment, have been in the environment for tens of years. And what ends up happening is there was a law that was passed, and you can go to EWG. It's a great place to go. Go to ewg.org. I hope I didn't mess it up today. ewg.org, environmentalworkinggroup.org. You can go there and you can learn a lot about chemicals. You can research chemicals in your cosmetics, in your household cleaners, and a lot of different things. EWG is a great website. But what they did is there was a law that was passed, and then there was basically saying that there was a level of testing that had to be done, but a lot of chemicals were grandfathered in and didn't have to have that testing. And I'm telling you guys right now that this is probably one of the biggest concerns to me, I think, with our current state of health. I think one of our biggest risks to us, because there's chemicals in our food, there's chemicals everywhere, there's chemicals on the paint in the wall, the carpet on the floor, the shoes we wear, our clothes have non-wrinkle stuff all over them, the dry cleaners, you name it, it's everywhere, the plastics everywhere, the fluorescent bulbs, there's all kinds of stuff that's affecting us. So our body's ability to detoxify these is going to be different from person to person. We know that these can drive an immunological response. So it's not just quantity, guys. I'm looking at immune responses to all these things. I'm looking at immune-based testing. I'm not looking at just quantities at all. I'm actually more concerned with, are you having an immune response to it? Because if your immune system's reacting, I know it's going to be much more likely to promote autoimmunity and create other issues. So immunological responses are really important. All right, these are causes. Now, with all that said, a lot of people come in to me and they're like, I tried a diet, I want to get food sensitivities done. And I'm like, wait, you're putting the cart before the horse. Okay, you're putting the cart before the horse. Because you know what I do first on everyone? And it's not, we never skip this, ever. Because it's the most important thing that we need to do first. And it's right here. You've got to address foundational blood chemistry. You've got to look at inflammatory markers. You've got to look at, inflammatory chemistry, guys, as step 1. So I look at C-reactive protein, which is CRP. and I look at, I'm going to put HCY, but it's homocysteine as a marker, as an inflammatory marker. These are top priorities. If these are high, I want to know why, because I know that this inflammatory chemistry will affect all of the rest of your chemistry. Dampen sensitivity to hormones, affect digestion, affect neurological and brain function, create tons of issues, and that cause has to be identified if you want to be healthy. If you want to feel good, a lot of people have thyroid problems and they just think it's all their thyroid quantity or thyroid hormone levels. That is completely, I mean, it could be the cause, but that is almost never the case. The people that I see, the number one problem that's causing issues with the way they feel is not their thyroid hormone levels. It's inflammatory chemistry that has not been identified. Guys, there are so many problems that can cause the exact same symptoms. So unless you're investigating and you're looking at foundational body chemistry, which this is very minimal, I'll look at a lot more stuff in this, but these are my top 3. If you're not looking at foundational body chemistry, you could be completely missing the boat, missing the actual cause of your symptoms. Because inflammation will create all kinds of symptoms that will directly mimic and look like hypothyroidism. So you've got to look at inflammation. You've got to look at red blood cell health. You cannot be anemic. You cannot be close to anemia, because anemia means, red blood cells, when you're anemic, it means you can't carry oxygen through the body efficiently. If you can't carry oxygen, you're in trouble. I'm telling you, because every cell in the body depends on oxygen. It has to have oxygen to function, to carry out metabolic processes. You cannot have anemia. That could be, there's a lot of different types of anemia. It's not just iron, guys. A lot of people think, well, I just need to take iron if I'm anemic. No. There are B vitamin anemias. There are anemias due to autoimmunity. There's one called pernicious anemia where you can't absorb B vitamins well. This needs to be considered, because if you cannot get oxygen to the cells of your body, then every single cell, which by the way, your body is made of cells, every bit of it, every single cell will dysfunction. And so how does that manifest? Well, typically it looks like fatigue, but what else could it be? Well, every cell dysfunction. So what does cellular dysfunction of the liver look like, or of the thyroid look like, or of your ovaries? What does that look like? There's a lot of, who knows? It causes dysfunction. It causes poor energy production. It's not a good thing. So red blood cell health is a key, and it has to be addressed. You don't skip these. You start here, and you look at all these things together, but you've got to say, why is there high inflammation? Why are my red blood cells? Is there a problem with the red blood cell health? And you've got to address that. If it's a hormonal issue and you have heavy menstrual cycles and you're bleeding, then we've got to figure out what's promoting that. Are there fibroids? Is there endometriosis? Is there something going on hormonally that's causing you to have irregular cycles? And if there's a hormonal imbalance, you've got to backtrack. Why are the hormones off? Is it an adrenal gland related problem that's causing a pregnenolone steal, causing you to deplete pregnenolone, a hormone needed to make your hormones? Is it a blood sugar dysregulation problem that's promoting the adrenal issue, that's promoting the hormonal issue? Backtrack and figure out what is going on. You need a detective. Okay? Blood sugar, number 3. Blood sugar dysregulation, high or low, wreaks havoc on all kinds of hormones and enzymes in the body. It will create major problems with trying to recover and have improvement with Hashimoto's. It will cause major problems with blood sugar, with your adrenal gland function. Blood sugar dysregulation will cause major problems with your hormone balance. Blood sugar dysregulation will cause major problems with neurotransmitter chemistry, brain chemicals, guys. So if you're depressed or you have issues and you're having problems with mood, you cannot skip these things. You cannot skip them. And I see it skipped all the time. People want to jump around. You need a roadmap. You need a roadmap. You need to get testing done if you need testing done. So guys, this is my overall approach. I want to share this with you guys. Guys, there's a lot of different ways you can help yourself, and I try to advocate that, but I want you to be educated on overall framework and my frame of the way that I think through these problems. And I've learned a lot of this from very brilliant people, and I appreciate every opportunity that I've had. But this is a lot of the framework that I'll utilize. So if you're trying to help yourself on your own, and then you need to start with dietary interventions. You could try out our thyroid program. Just go to thyroidprogram.com, or you could go to thyroid giveaway. You can go there, thyroidprogram.com though, but you can check out my website, guys. If you need help and you feel like you want someone to help you walk you through this, I consult with people around the world We work with people all over the place, and I do consulting with them to help them investigate and put this into, try to put the pieces of the puzzle together so that we can come up with a plan to approach this, okay, and to try to help you. But sometimes it just takes an outside person, because listen, I understand overwhelm, and I understand having information overload and not being able to know what's best, and seeing, people will share their testimonies about using a supplement or doing a particular thing, and then you try it and it doesn't work for you. And that's because no one is the same. We all have, especially when we're autoimmune, we can react to anything at any time. So that being the case, guys, you cannot treat everyone the same. Everyone has a unique, just like everyone has their own thumbprint, right? You have your own unique drivers of this process. So it's what you have to consider. Guys, if you need help and you want to see if it might be a good fit that we work one-on-one, and I'm going to tell you, we don't accept every person that applies for care. And notice I said apply. If you go to drbradshuk.com, which is our website, you can click on application for care, because it is an application. I don't work with anyone, with just everyone. I look at your case and I look to see if I think I can help you. If I think I can help you, and psychologically, guys, you have to be in the right place. Like, I can't help you if you're not willing to change your diet, if you're not willing to change your lifestyle, if you're not willing to take temporary nutritional supplementation, then I can't help you. And I know that. And I want to tell you right now, I can't help you. If you're not willing to make changes, and you're not willing to follow through, and you expect me to do everything for you, all I can do is investigate, organize, and help give you direction. You have to do the work. And I'll teach you how to do that as best I can, but you have to implement, right? You have to do that. And if you're not willing to do that, then don't go there, because I can't help you. I can already tell you that. And so what I do is I look at people's, the intake forms. We have people send in their intake forms. You call and make an appointment, and we schedule it, and we get your intake forms within 5 days. Like, if it's after 6 days, we release your appointment. Guys, it's just because I need time. I need to look at that, and I need to be able to review that intake form and see if I think I can help you, right? If I think I can help you, we'll have our appointment, and we'll discuss what else is going on, and we'll try to organize it, and I'll give you some ideas on what to do next, whether it be testing, like looking at the foundational chemistry, or whatever it is, okay? If I don't think I can help you, then we will call and let you know that I don't think that I can help. And there are people I can't help, and sometimes I don't know if I can't help you. Like, we work through the case, and I'll do my best for you, but you've got to realize that you have to carry the load. You have to do the work. So that's the difference in really my approach and, conventional medicine's approach is to give you a thyroid hormone replacement, which is absolutely necessary if you're hypothyroid. Absolutely necessary. My approach is looking at root drivers. And when you look at root drivers of the process, you have to be willing to make changes. You have to be willing to invest in your health. And you have, because you're going to have to spend money out of your own pocket to get some of these things done. I wish there was another way, but there's no other way at this point in time. And guys, you're worth it. Your health is worth it. And you've got to compare it. Like, are you going to take medications every day? If you're on medications for the rest of your life, how much does that cost? If you think spending, $1,000 or a few $1,000s to get testing done and help you try to figure out actually how to help yourself, like really get to the root drivers of the process, look at taking some of these medications, or some of the people that are on some of these really expensive medications, these immunosuppressants. I mean, there are medications that are thousands of dollars per month. Guys, this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity. This is a new way of looking at your health. This is a new opportunity to really try to be healthy naturally. So guys, I hope this has helped you a lot. I've gone a lot longer than I thought I would on this one, but it's so important when we start talking about the why and what's actually going on here, because this is probably one of the most important things that you can understand, because you can read all these things and all these parts of, read about gluten and foods and infections and all these other things, but that's not really a framework. Those are just things you learn about, and you wonder, you go after that shiny object, that thing that's a possibility, that glimmer of hope. This helps you to put that desperate grasp at hope into a framework that's logical, that you work through, okay? So I hope that helps you guys out. Appreciate you so much. Guys, if you found this valuable, please do share this with other people. It helps us help them. And it's really important that we share this message with people, because there's so many people suffering that are not going to ever get this information unless we try to spread it. So you guys are part of a movement, right? Our mission is to educate ourselves, to become our own advocates, and to take our health back and be better partners with our doctors. Okay? We're going to make a difference, but we've got to do it the right way. So I'm Dr. Shook. I appreciate you guys so much. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. See you again soon. Thanks.